Assalamu alaikum everyone, and this is the video as I promised that I'm making separately to answer your question, and there are long list of questions, and these are the unique questions that all participants ask. So I will try to be as brief as possible to answer these questions. And if you still did not get the answer of your question, you did not get the concept or understanding, please let me know. I will further clarify it. So I'll go first one by one. Do we need to convert gender into numerical from 1 to 0 before analysis can be done? Yes, it is better. It is better because gender, if you put the male, M-A-L-E, male, it will be considered as a string variable or text variable. While if you put the code male for 1 or female for 0 or whatever number, then it will be considered as a group number. And in statistics, in SPSS, you analyze a numerical data. So it is better to convert gender or qualification or any categorical variable into numbers in the numericals. So this is the answer of your question. Number 2, please describe measure, how we can assign different things in the different roles. So measure means in SPSS you may have seen this window, this measure. Measure is commonly, there are 3 measures in SPSS, which is scale, ordinal and nominal. A scale is the measure which has for example teaching experience, for example salary, for example job satisfaction, for example test score, height, weight, room temperature, width. These all are temperatures. These all are scales. Ordinal scales are scale which are on order and have some kind of categories. For example, Likert scale. Likert scale are usually considered as ordinal scale. Or if you are asking someone opinion in a 5-point scale or 7-point scale from strongly agree, strongly agree, or never to always, these are ordinal scale. And nominal, when there is a category, there is a category, but order does not matter. For example, gender. Gender have a category, male and female, but order does not matter. Similarly, you can see the qualification, B.Ed, M.Ed, others. These can be nominal scale. Pre-service, in-service, these can be nominal scale. Permanent, temporary license, these can be nominal scale. But if you see this, nothing to very little, these are the categories, but order does matter. So these are the ordinal scale. So in SPSS, either you can put it or you don't put it. I mean, for preliminary analysis, it does not matter. It does not matter because SPSS automatically detect what kind of scale it is. Secondly, the role. The question asks about the role. Role, actually SPSS provide the role. By default, the role is input. But there are some other role, target, board. For example, if your variable is predictor or criterion variable, like you are using regression, so you can by default consider as a target variable, a variable that has to see where effect can be seen. So by default, leave it as input because this kind of role is assigned on a complex analysis. So basically, this gives a particular role to the each variable, so that whenever you analyze it, so SPSS can detect that this is a dependent variable or this is independent variable. But if you want to analyze it by yourself and you want to decide which one is dependent, which one is independent based on the list, then leave it as a input, which is by default option. Let me answer how gender is numerical variable. So, which means how gender is not a numerical variable. Gender is a categorical variable. Gender is a nominal variable. So, whenever there is a nominal variable or categorical variable, we assign a number for each category value. That assignment is called coding. So, gender is not a numerical variable. Gender is a nominal variable or gender is a categorical variable. But when gender has a 2 category, male and female, that 2 categories assign a coding, a number, which may be 1 or 2, 2 or 3 or 10 or 20, whichever you like. Number 4, what is standard deviation? Standard deviation, actually the variation, change, is called variation and change inside the data. For example, if you have collected a data and your data look, for example, test score. Your test score look like this: 25, 80, 26, 90, 40, and 65. Another student, another class test score is 25, 26, 28, 30, and 28. Now, if you see these both data set, the first data set has change and variation is too large. So you can safely say the standard deviation of this set data is higher than this. The basic idea of standard deviation, SD, is the average distance from the mean. Actually, it tells how much variation are there in the data set. So it also like, for example, if your data set is standard deviation is 0, which is almost impossible, but hypothetically assume that standard deviation is 0, which means you all have same number, which means if your data set has, for example, your data set has 25, 25, 25, 25, 25. So what is the change in this data set? 0. So standard deviation will be 0. So if you see this standard deviation will be lower, and this standard deviation will be higher. So standard deviation is the average distance from the mean. It is very important to this measurement is also very important because it tells what is the consistency of numbers. Number 5 size can be used instead of when SPSS is not available for education sector research. Actually, a smart PLS is used for the other kind of analysis like structure equation modeling. So a smart PLS is used for factor analysis and SEM or structure equation modeling, but for like independent test, ANOVA, regression, correlation, you cannot use the smart PLS. So SPS is actually a broad version, a generalized software. A smart PLS is specifically used for the structure equation modeling. So can you use it? I mean, it depends what kind of analysis you want to run. If your analysis is only SEM, then you must use smart PLS. If your analysis is independent test, dependent test, correlation, or chi-square, then you can only use SPSS. Smart PLS does not provide such kind of analysis. Number 6, how to check reliability of data. Reliability of data is not the part of this content, but hopefully in today's session I will make and there is also I made a separate video to check the reliability, and I will share the link. So I also make this reliability in a separate video, which is just short 5 to 7 minutes video, and where you can get the idea how you can check the reliability and how you interpret the reliability. How secondary data analysis, again it depends what kind of data you have. SPSS only provides analysis of a numerical data. So if you have numerical data and you want analysis, SPSS can help you. And is it important to respond on each item? Can you simply enter the total score? It depends. Actually, we collect a questionnaire. We make a questionnaire to collect the data. So each item is important. Actually, each item composition make a total score. So if you enter only a total score, then maybe in future you may know that you may want to know that what was the individual item score. So you can enter the total score and you can run the analysis of average score, but I would recommend you always input all data, because maybe in future you need to collect more data, or maybe someone wants, okay, validate this data. So you must have a complete data set in a raw form like each item score. So it is important, yes, it is important to enter response score on each item rather than just simply a total score. Number 9, if there is a missing value on the questionnaire, then If there is a missing value, it depends how many missing values there are. If there are some minor missing values, like few missing values, put it blank. Okay. If there are more missing values, then there are certain procedure. One of the common procedure is putting the mean value of that item. But again, it's also a very long discussion topic, how to deal with missing value. It depends on how many missing values are there. If there are few missing values, leave it blank. It will not affect a lot. But if there are more missing value, then you need certain type of mechanism or technique to handle with it. Number 10, sir, labels are not appearing after adding 1 to only, it only show number on the label. Yes, sometimes it happens. It's basically when you enter the data, this is the data view. So see, there are only number is appearing, label is not appearing. So go to view, in view, click on the value labels. When you click on the value labels, label will be appear, just like male and female and all others. And if you want to see a numbers, again uncheck the value labels. So this is the answer of your question. Number 11, how do we make analysis of commits of survey? SPSS only provides analysis for a numerical data. If commits are in text form, are in opinion form, open-ended form, then you cannot analysis on you cannot done analysis in SPSS. You have to do it manually. However, SPSS can provide the frequencies. Frequencies means how many people say give this comments, how many people give this comments, using simple frequency distribution, which I already explained you in the first step. But if there is a text or open-ended questions, open-ended comments, SPSS cannot analyze it. Can Google Form be linked with SPSS for data collection? How it can be done? Yes, it can be linked, and how it can be done? Again, I need to make a separate video for it because it takes a time to, and for the time being, I would say yes, it can be done, and I'll make a video, a short video, and will upload on YouTube channel. Okay. So number 12, dear sir, could you please explain the difference between categorical, nominal, and scale variable? I already explained you in the item number when I was explaining the second question. So go to my initial answer of second question. Your answer will be there. Still, if you have confusion, you can ask me later. Number 1, dear sir, answer the question. I feel confusion for dealing with my self-developed questionnaire. Sir, if you have 5-point Likert scale, extend from strongly agree, disagree to strongly care. Sir, can we use negative proportion scale? Please look at the following proportion. I think my confidence level increased by doing physical examination laboratory. I think my confidence level increased by doing. Yes, you can use it. But see, these two items are almost same item. Only the direction is changed. The question asked, you need to ask yourself why you are asking these two questions when you can ask the same thing. You can ask the same measurement by the same one question. You can put a negative items, you can put a positive item, and it is also research indicated that you should do it. But I do not recommend it to put the same question in a positive direction as well as negative direction, because it is called redundancy. The both question measure the same thing, which is confidence level. One in a positive way, one is a negative way. So if this question is very important and it is a core of your research or instrument, then you may ask in this way, because if you feel that participant click it without reading it, so you may ask this positive, negative, same item just to validate if participant click on by understanding or without understanding. But usually, if this particular item is not the core of your instrument, then I would not recommend you to make same item in a positive or negative way. You can make positive, negative item, but the content or the measurement should be different. The level of question or the inside thing which you want to ask should be different. Number 16, sir, kindly tell the difference among the versions of SPSS. For you will not feel any difference. If you use SPSS version 16, you will not feel any difference. The results is identical for all versions because it's a mathematics, and this calculation is developed more than 150 years ago. SPSS is developed in 60s. So people use this independent test ANOVA quotient even before the SPSS was there. The newer version of SPSS actually provide a better look, good formatting, and more functions. That's the only difference. 17, please sir guide me about one more question. Is balance distribution of positive and negative item useful measure if item both positive, purposeful, and negative? I give you the answer of this question when I was answering this question. It is not important to have a balanced distribution of positive and negative. Ideally, if you have a 10 item, 2-3 should be negative, because if you put a 50% positive item, 50% negative item, it gives a load, cognitive load to the participant. Participant would have a hard time to understand the question and answer the fill the gap. So if questions are all in positive direction, if all questions are negative direction, participant would fill quickly. Quickly does not mean that without reading. Even with reading it will be quickly, because in the mind is prepared that he or she needs to imagine the situation and give the answer. But if you put a negative item and then positive, then negative, it will be hard for participant to understand it and respond to the question. So I would suggest make a negative item at least 30%, 20%, not more than that. Number 18, please explain how we can export online data in SPSS. Again, this question was linked with this Google form, and I said that I will make a short video and put on the YouTube channel. And then number 11, number 9, can we analyze data through histogram? Yes, we can analyze. It depends what kind of data you have. Usually the ratio scale type data can be analyzed using histogram. Histogram also tell you the distribution. Histogram also tell you whether data is normally distributed or not normally distributed. So you can do it. 20. Can we say construct are hidden attributes? I don't know what does it mean by saying hidden attribute. Construct is not like, for example, if I have a personality, I have a ability. Now personality, ability is not a hidden. Everyone can see. Everyone can see. I have a communication skill. I have an opinion. Now communication skill, opinion is not a hidden. Everyone can see how I communicate. So, but this is also construct. So construct, you can say construct is an abstract thing that cannot is not a tangible thing. It's an abstract thing. And the other thing that construct cannot be measured directly. So I would not say it's a hidden attribute. Number 21, if you would like to know how to enter data online, I have collected, again this question is related to the Google form, and I'll make a separate video to how you can make questionnaire data collect online and then enter onto SPSS directly. Sir, how to enter data experiment and control group in one file and how analyzes both group? I think I answered this question in session 2. In session 2, when I was discussing independent t-test and dependent t-test, I told you how you can enter data, control group and experimental group in one file. If you remember, this is the data. This is the data. This is the gender. Gender is male and female. Imagine you have a group, like make another group. So make group 1 is a control group, number 2 is experimental group, and simply put the data in this way. So either it's a gender, or it's a group for control group or experimental group. You can put all this data in one file and analyze it. How will we analyze categorical in a variable except using descriptive analysis, frequency and all? I mean, like quantitative variables are measured with regression. What about the categorical variable? Categorical variable can be analyzed using other inferential statistics, like even with ANOVA and regression, even correlation. But again, it depends on what kind of categorical variable you have and what is your main purpose. For example, if you want to see the association between gender and political affiliation, For example, you assume that certain mostly females are affiliated with certain political party and male are associated with certain political party, and you want to conduct a study whether gender has influence on political affiliation. Then you can conduct a research, get a data through survey form. So you would have a two variable. One is gender, other is political affiliation, and both variable are categorical variable, and you simply need to use chi-square. So again, yes, you can do analysis. You can do the analysis of categorical variable by using regression, correlation, chi-square. It depends what is the main purpose, objective of your study. Then, sir, could you please explain the difference between category, nominal, and variable scale? I already explained question number 2. Please listen it again. And question number 2. What's the input in the variable view? Input in variable view. Again, I explained it in when I was explaining the question about measure and input in somehow in 5 to 7 items. And then what else could you explain? Category number. What does it mean by standard deviation value in last column? I explain you what does it mean by standard deviation, and standard deviation is a variation, change in data set. This is the what is the standard deviation? I explained with question number 4. Kindly explain definition of mean and standard deviation. Mean is the average. When average means a single number that represents a complete data set. A standard deviation is the average distance from the mean. So mean only tell you what is the overall trend or what is the single number that represents the complete data set. On the other hand, standard deviation tells you that what is the variation in this data set. Please can you repeat the compute variable process? So in compute variable, we'll go to transform compute variable, and compute variable, for example, I make a efficacy. I want to make an average of question number 1 plus question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, question number 5 divided by 5. For example, this 5 item make a efficacy scale. So I just make a bracket, this add this 5 variables and divide by 5. So it will be the average, and average will move to the shift to the efficacy variable, and then press OK. So you will notice that efficacy variable will be created, and this will be the average of 5 items. So this is how you can compute variable process. 29, when I'm putting 1 for data view, is not showing male instead of blah blah blah, which I already told you. That is basically this variable. So see, this is the numbers. You cannot see the male and female or other, because go to the view and go to value labels. So you can see the labels, and if you don't want to see the labels, uncheck it. So this is the answer of your question. Is there any other way to select question in compute variable numerical operation? Is there a lot of question in question normally? Is there select? There's also another way, but when it is easy way, why are you going to the other way? Like transform is also recode into same variable, recode into different. This process also do somehow this thing. Recode means recode using some formula, and compute means to create another variable. So you can use both variables, and if you have a many variables, you can do it by easy way by clicking it. So it's not a big deal. And 39, first item question is how to analyze data of multiple answer for same question, like how did you go to the TV. Again, it is you can analyze it using a frequency. A frequency will tell you, for example, how did you learn about this webinar series? WhatsApp, Facebook page, friends, colleagues, and you can check multiple, for example. Then I can count that whether people know about this webinar series through WhatsApp, through Facebook. So if there are multiple answer section, you can run the analysis. Actually, for each analysis, you need to make a separate variable. For example, WhatsApp, okay, and Facebook. For example, my question was that how did you learn about this? How did you know about this webinar series? So I make 4 options: WhatsApp, Facebook, and friends or website, and make a yes no options. So this way I can count how many people know about this webinar series through WhatsApp, through Facebook, and participant can give a multiple answers. Maybe someone heard about this webinar series using by WhatsApp and as well as through friends. Can we analyze quality data in SPSS? No. SPSS is used to analyze quantitative data. For qualitative data, other software is used, which is one of common software is NVO. And recently we will also conduct another training on NVO, doing a qualitative data analysis in NVO. So maybe you can join this training as well. But the question that you ask, qualitative can be analyzed in SPSS? No, qualitative data cannot be analyzed in SPSS. Number 33, is it API style to remove the last two column of frequency? No, it is not the API style to remove the last two column of frequency. I did it, I told you just because these are the redundant information like cumulative and valid percentage. These are redundant or useless information, unnecessary information, and sometimes you have a large table or width is too large, so that you can need to remove two columns to adjust in one page. So API does not require you either add it or delete it, it's just your own preference. 34, is there any effect of sample size when we are dealing with the categories like number of males and female? If you are male and female, if you are categorical data in the group inside the categorical variable is not a huge difference, then it does not affect it. The sample size of two group or more than two group, if they are almost same, then it does not affect it. Even for independent test, you may have a different male size, may have a different female size, and you can run the independent test. The idea is that the difference between two groups, the number of participants between two groups should not have a huge difference. Because just think, if two groups have a huge difference in terms of numbers, then it does not make sense to compare it, to see the difference, because they are two variables, two groups are not same in terms of size. So the size is too different, variation, then it is not good idea to analyze it using independent t-test or other analysis. So ideally you should have male and female almost same or just minor difference, maybe 10 male 12 female or 100 male and 150 female, it's good. But if the male are 20 and female are 300, then the result will be biased and you cannot compare it logically. 35, I have come across a data earlier. This was saved format, but instead of putting the value in the value section, the value are mentioned in the label section. Okay, I answered this question already, that because this is the actually numbers. If you want to see a label, this is how you can see the label. What's the difference in percentage? Valid percentage shown in the frequency table. Actually, percentage shows the percentage of all the numbers. Valid percentage show the percentage only after excluding the missing value. If you have some missing values, then this percentage will count all the numbers. It counts all participants, all data. Okay, and valid percentage, it counts all numbers excluding missing values. So if you don't have a missing values in your data set, then valid percentage and percentage would be same. But if you have some missing value, then the valid percentage is calculated after excluding the missing value portion. So this is the difference. 37, I means the use of positive ordered item, reverse the item, reduce the response bias, and commonly use the practical. The main goal of this research is to analyze and positive reverse item. Okay, this is the comment, and I also explained the above question. How to use SPSS to analyze secondary data? I don't know what does it mean by use the secondary data. If you have already data, like UNICEF data, UNESCO data, government data, and that is in numbers, then you can analyze it just like the data you have in this form. But if you are referring to the document report, then you cannot analyze it, because SPSS is only mean for the numbers, numerical values. If you have a data set, already data set, government data set, or any NGO provided data set, then you can analysis in SPSS. Why we are taking average of test and score? Why not just the sum? Actually, sum is not a reliable thing to measure, to give a measurement for the test score or quiz. The average is actually a number, because by definition average is a number that represents the data set. So it is better to calculate the average. One more thing, that whenever you have a questionnaire is 5-point Likert scale, and if there are 10 items, and if you take the average would also be between 1 to 5. So it will be better for you, it will be easier for you to analyze it and to interpret it if the average is between 1 to 5, because you can say 1 means strongly disagree and 5 means strongly agree. So it is better to take an average rather than take the sum. How do we code academic achievement in SPSS? Again, academic achievement, what does it mean by you academic achievement? Academic achievement can be test score, can be final grade, can be GPA, can be final test score, can be overall student progress. So it depends what do you mean by academic achievement. Some may say the academic achievement student GPA, some say that final test score, some say the overall behavior change. So whichever you define academic achievement, you can code it. You can ideally academic achievement is denoted by the GPA score or final last class scores, and you can put on SPSS as well. How do we code academic achievement? Okay, can we do inverse coding by assigning inverse value respondent 1 to strong? No, you cannot do it inverse coding, because this is not the inverse coding. This is actually you are shifting the Likert scale, but the question remains same. It is better to make one more thing, that if you shift this, for example, if you have 5 items from strongly disagree to strongly agree, and 5 items from strongly agree to strongly disagree, then it will create a confusion to the participant. Because when the sample attempt the quiz attempt the questionnaire, then he keeps in mind that the first means strongly disagree and 5 means strongly agree. So I would not suggest you to shift this Likert scale, because it will create a confusion among participants, and you may not get a valid data, because participant think that he is clicking or he is selecting strongly agree, while in actually he will select strongly disagree. So it is better to put all this Likert scale in one direction. However, you can change the items in positive or negative way, but negative should be 20 to 30%, not more than that. So repeat how to make a bar chart. It's very simple. Go to this and graph legacy graph, and there are bar chart. This is bar chart, simple bar chart. You can also make a cluster if you have more than 2 groups. Stack chart, like if you want to compare male and female simultaneously, you can also make this chart. I will make a simple bar chart, and the variable I want to, this is efficacy, and then OK, and this is the bar chart. Okay, so this is how simple it is. Okay, number 44, repeat server guidance session. Use why repeat difference between GTS and OY. This is the related to session 2, and I explain this in detail in session 2. I will also make the video uploaded, recorded video will upload in YouTube channel. If one question has two questions with 4-point Likert and some other has 5-point Likert and some other 7-point, what method can we do to represent the data? I mean, technically it does not affect your analysis. If your set of questions have 5-point scale, 7-point, or 9, some item have 5-point scale, some 7 or some 9, it doesn't matter. Your analysis, your result will not affect. You can do the analysis as you can do. So, because if you I also did one of the analysis in which the set of question, one question has a 5-point Likert scale and other sub-construct has 7-point Likert scale. So you can do it. It does not have any big deal. So these are the list of questions you asked in session 1, and I hope that you got the answer. Let me know if you have any question. I am putting this video on YouTube and you can watch it. Thank you.